Alright guys, the first thing I want to do is take the pin out of the gas block which holds the gas tube. Make sure you find out which punch you need. The punch that I found that it's working here is it is a 1/16 punch. So I'm going to get this out of here. Okay. Pretty much came right out. And that is a roll pin, and we're going to replace that with a hardened steel pin, solid. Okay, now that I know this is the right size, I will line up my gas piston system. You'll see what I mean when I do it. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is, well, it came out easy. I thought I was going to have to yank my brains out. Alright, let me do that over. Hold on, fucking UPS. Sorry about that. FedEx man came here, dropped me off a package from jabtac.com. That's a whole other video. I'll show you what that is. Okay, what are we doing? We took the pin out, right? We are rolling, okay? Now once you take the pin out, okay, for another thing, make sure your charging handle's pulled all the way back. I didn't show you that, sorry. Pull the bolt back, or you can just take the whole, you could take the bolt out if you want. I didn't, I just pulled the charging handle back. Now what I'm going to do now is pull the gas tube, the gas line, to me as far as I can, and then turn it, and then remove the gas tube. I didn't mar it, didn't mess it up, so it's in good shape. We'll put that aside. If anyone's interested in some AR15 parts, let me know. I got a whole box of them. You know, everything we took off of Ron's AR, there's, you know, I have no use for them. You know, Ron has no use for them, so we're probably going to get rid of them at a very, very reasonable price, okay? Okay, that's step one. Hold on. Alright, I'm ready to put the next section in. And what I need to do is get it in the gas block and line up the hole, okay? So what I want to do is, the last thing I want to do is mar up my pin. So I put just a little bit of ballast on there. And we're going to line up this hole. And just wiggle it back and forth till you see the hole. Alright, make sure it's perfect. Okay, line it up with this bad boy. That's good. Okay, now I'm ready to put my pin in. Okay. And I'm using a roll of tape with a white background so I can see right through it and make sure nothing's going to stop me, because this pin is just the right size for this hole and it's hard steel. So now I don't have a roll pin holder. So what you do is cut a little piece of insulation off electrical wire, and it'll hold the pin for you, and you put the pin in one end and the punch in the other, like this, and it holds the pin. Make sure it's touching the end of the punch so you get solidness. And I'll put a little bit of ballast on that pin, just what's on the straw, just what's dripping out of the straw is enough. Okay. And the pin has a tapered rounded end, and it has a square end, so make sure the taper rounded end goes in first. And as you can see, my rifle is flipped the other way because the pin goes in one way and goes out the other way. So let's see what happens here. Alright, that pin in there like that. A couple little taps. See if I got it started. Yep. Got my pin started. Now I'll take it the rest of the way in with my punch. And just... Okay, now I'm going to put this piece in. It looks like a coupling, and what this is, this steel rod rides in here like this, and it keeps everything straight and sturdy and level. That's what it's a guide. That's what it is. And it goes into the very top of the receiver. I don't know if you can see it. It's all the way on the top. It's almost against the top, right under the outside. You'll see a hole in there, and you want to make sure you have the tapered end facing the direction you're going to seat it. And I'm going to use a cleaning rod. So, Jason recommends. And I had to actually rig this one up. And I had the tapered end in there, and I'm gonna seat it in the hole, and I'll turn it up this way. Okay. Let your camera up. See what the hell's going on here. You can see in there what's going on. I gotta seat that, so what I'll do is I'll get my hammer or a mallet. Make sure everything's straight, not cocked. Give it a little tap. Okay, it's going in straight. Looking good. And it's all the way in. Clean that off. I don't know if you can see in there, guys. See it in there? No, you can't, can you? Cameraman, let me see if I can get the camera. No, there's no way you're going to be able to see in there. Well, you got to trust me. Let me see. Let me take the camera off the tripod. And then, hold on a second, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. This is. Okay, you see where I put the coupling? That's what I call it, a coupling. It's probably not called that, but it acts like a coupling. Right in the roof. Okay, and you just tap it in as far as it'll go, then give it a good whack, one good whack, and don't keep, don't force it in too much. That's as far as it wants to go, and it's looking good. All right, let's see the next step. Okay, now to get this next section in, you gotta kind of fiddle with it for a while. That's why I did it off camera, but I'm just showing. You'll get it. It's not hard to do. And what you do is, this spigot, this is part of it. You put this in next. This part here, it's this first, then this. You slide that in. Then when you put this rod in, make sure when you're putting it in, there's a flat side here. There's a round side here. Make sure the flat side's down. And it's going to feel like you're bending it a little, but you have to kind of go in on an angle, and then once you get it in, then you turn the flat side up. See what I'm doing? And once you get it in, you turn the flat side up like that, and then it lines up with the spigot. Okay. Everything looks okay. Now the next thing that's going to go in is this weld spring. They call it a weld spring. And should be pretty simple to put in. Slide that in together like that. Look for the hole. Damn, can't see nothing. Okay, the hole looks nice and clear, all clear, flat side up. Here's your weld spring. What you're going to do is stick from this side through the hole. As soon as I line it up, it's a little better. Everything fits just right, so everything's gonna be lined up perfect. There it goes. Okay, and then what you gotta do is you gotta push it, the spring under. It's under a lot of tension, and then it wraps around the other side. So I guess I will flip this around. Get a fat punch and push here. That. Okay. Okay, everything's good now. I noticed there was a little bit of friction. When you put this gas piston system in, there should be no friction. I mean none. This should move very, very freely. You shouldn't feel anything rubbing, no resistance at all. Because remember, it's gas air pressure. It's going to be blowing it back and forth. It should be like this. See how easy that's moving back and forth? That's how you want it. Now what happened was, I was noticing, that's why I turned the camera off, I was noticing there was a little friction. And what I did was I looked down, I lined this Picatinny rail up with this Picatinny rail, and I noticed the gas block moved a little bit from putting the pin in. So what I had to do was, and this happened, I remember when I was getting mine put in, it happened too. Because these gas blocks they have on here, they're only held by these two Allen screws. And when you're banging that pin in there, it will move it. So I loosened the Allen screws, lined it back up again, and then it freed this up right away and it straightened everything back out. This was just cocked a little from me hitting it that way. So I loosen it, move it to the center, tighten them back up, and make sure you use Loctite on them. The blue stuff, at least use the blue stuff, because you don't want that thing ever to move. But everything's good, everything's nice and straight, and that's the whole thing about putting this in. Everything has to be straight and level, or it won't work right. But this is good. This is what we want to hear. I mean, this is what we want to see right here. Okay. Now that's the gas piston system. Now what I'm going to do is get Ron's bolt, this old bolt, the bolt carrier. I'm going to take all Ron's parts out of it, and I'm going to get the exo nickel boron bolt, of course, and I'm going to put Ron's firing pin in here, the cam lock, whatever you call it, and the bolt. I'm going to put that in here. Okay? And once that's done, I'll start putting the whole rifle back together. I know it's not the best video in the world, but you got to remember, guys, when you do something for the first time, you run into little things, and you got to correct yourself and edit and all that stuff. So, all right, here we go. Okay, I took all the parts out of Ron's stock bolt carrier, and we're going to put it in the new exo nickel boron carrier. Okay, and let's do that. Make sure we got the right hole facing up. No, we don't. Remember, when you're putting these in, you really can't put them in wrong, because one hole is bigger on one side than the other side, and the bigger hole always faces up. And just slide this in there. Make sure you got room for clearance. Throw the cam pin in. Okay, and get your firing pin. Firing pin in, and you got this retaining pin, looks like a cotter pin. Got a big hole, little hole. Go in the big hole. Push that all the way in. And the way you test it is give it one of these. It's good. Okay, and that's it. Ron's bolt, brand new bolts, ready to go in his DPMS and put it on a whole nother level of reliability. Okay, let me get the lower and we'll get it all back together. Okay, we're attaching the lower to the upper now. Let me find the, I can't find Ron's charging handle. Put this in first. Some lubrication on that. And this just goes in. Up. Alright, pull it out a little. Okay, here's Ron's new nickel boron bolt system. Man, this thing's beautiful. Now if you look at the difference between the two, here's the regular stock DPMS, and here's the nickel boron system. You can see there's a lot more. Look how big this window is here. See how much more steel? This steel comes up higher. There's very little. This is like a full auto bolt carrier. That's how heavy duty it is. And also it has a unique shape. It just has thicker walls, it's wider, and also the end of it right here is tapered. has a tapered end on it. Okay, and which this regular stock one, it's just cut square. Okay, so, and like I said, this part here is attached with 2 Allen keys, and it's staked. Okay, whatever. This is all one piece. You know, hold the lever here, Ronnie. You really don't need much lubrication with this. Pretty much, you don't need any. But I know how Ron is. I'll just give one little spray of ballistol. It's okay, you can lubricate it a little if you want, but it doesn't really call for it. And make sure the bolt's forward, or it won't go in. It should go right in. Should go right in. Should go right in, because the bolt ain't forward enough. So there it goes. Here it goes. Okay. Push that in till it locks. All good. Alright, bring the upper down, snap her in. Alright guys, that's the end of the installation. I hope you learned something. I think it came out good. And that's it. Gas piston system AR now. It's good to go. Alright, talk to you guys soon.